Democratic Senate President Don Harmon of Oak Park joins us next on Illinois Lawmakers. Great to have you back on the program, sir.
It's good to be back with you, Jack. Thanks for having me.
The Senate, of course, went home over the weekend after passing a $53.1 billion budget for the state fiscal year beginning July 1st. House lawmakers, though, had a tougher time passing the budget in the pre-dawn hours on Wednesday, but it's finally on the way to Governor Pritzker's desk. Senator, you called the bill responsive, responsible, and balanced. How does it reflect the Senate Democrats' values for and priorities for the coming fiscal year?
Well, thanks for the question, Jack. It's a good, responsible, balanced budget. I hope it will lead to the continuation of Illinois being viewed as a sound financial operator. At the same time, even under difficult circumstances, we were able to invest in those things that have long been priorities for the Senate Democrats: education, kindergarten through high school, as well as early childhood, and continuing investment in higher education with MAP grants and support for students. We've invested in healthcare. We've invested in homelessness prevention, and all in all, a budget of which we can all be very proud.
There's another $200 million in there for the state's rainy day fund, and you're continuing to pay down the state's pension obligations for the 5 public pension systems.
We are, and those are promises we've made and promises we need to keep. It's not as exciting to put money in the pension fund or the rainy day fund as it is to invest in kindergarten or early childhood, but it's a part of the balanced approach we've taken.
There's a child tax credit for parents of qualified children under age 12. I think the total cost of that's pegged at like $50 million for the first year. It goes up from then.
It does. This is also a longtime priority of Senate Democrats. Members of our caucus introduced more robust packages, one that would have been pegged at $300 million, another at $700 million. We were thrilled that the governor included a small child tax credit in his introduced budget. I believe that was a $12 million proposal. So we're happy that we have been able to push that up. It's going to go to the families that need it the most and to benefit children across the state. And we hope it can grow from there as the financial picture of Illinois allows.
There's the elimination also of the state's 1% grocery tax. There was some negotiating that had to be done on that so that local municipalities that actually get money back from that wouldn't be as badly impacted. Could you speak to that?
Yeah, this was a real priority for the governor, and I understand why. Illinois is one of the few states that imposes a state grocery tax. The fact of the matter is the proceeds of that grocery tax passed through the state and went to local governments from the jump. When we proposed eliminating it, the local governments understandably said, hey, how are we going to fill our budget gap? So we structured it to allow it to phase out from the state over time. And if local governments decide they still need it, they could enact it. I hope that we've given local governments other tools and revenue streams that might obviate the need for them to do it. But part of the package was to at least maintain the possibility that a local government could enact a grocery tax if it, with its village board, city council, decided that they needed to do that.
There were some points of contention with some of your friends on the Republican side in the aisle. There's $182 million in there to provide shelter and care for recently arrived migrants, and another $440 million more for programs that provide Medicaid like health care for non-citizens. Republicans say the Democrats' party priorities are misplaced. They say the state's resources ought to be spent on Illinoisans, not non-residents.
I was surprised at how often the Republicans on the floor were telling us we weren't spending enough money. That doesn't seem like the typical Republican talking point. The fact of the matter is we cut the spending for the Medicaid-like program from $550 million to $440 million. I also emphasize these are folks who would be showing up in our emergency rooms and we'd be paying for their health care regardless. I think a humane system that allows people to get preventative health care to head off the bad health outcomes at the pass makes a lot of sense for Illinois taxpayers.
Well, Republicans have talked a lot about the increase in the budget overall and some of the tax revenue enhancement plans that go along to make up that. But one of the things that stands out is there are no increases in terms of income taxes.
That's correct. The tax package that we enacted primarily impacts businesses. Um, we fought hard to make sure regular taxpayers didn't get hit in the nose with this package, but in fact, the opposite is true. We made sure the standard deduction is growing, so that benefits all Illinois taxpayers, and the child tax credit bolsters those who need that help the most. So this is a good tax package for real working people in Illinois.
Senator Harmon, thank you so much for your time on Illinois Lawmakers. We always appreciate it, sir.
Great to be with you. Thank you.